Before we hop into the show with my special guest, I want to personally invite you to a sacred ceremony, a retreat with my soul sister, Ashley D. Adam. We are hosting a magical, energetic, potent retreat called Roots Reclaimed, a Sacred Journey in Sedona. This is one of the most magical places that I have been to in the Western half of the US. It is one of the most healing places on earth. There's vortexes and high vibrational frequencies, and we are bringing all this energy into our retreat. This retreat will be hosted in 2024, October 31st through November 4th. And this retreat is ideal for women that are desiring this immense transformation in their life, the spiritual path, but they're unsure how to get there. If you're desiring to let go of the past and to step into a new future, to awaken to your intuition and restore your innate feminine essence, this retreat is for you. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek at some of the immersive embodiment practices that we will be offering at this retreat. There will be sacred earths, altars, somatic breathwork, Mama Earth medicine, private soul activation readings, which sounds so juicy, tribal body painting, which incorporates just so much fun and joy, chanting and drumming, cacao ceremonies, and so much more. So if you're desiring more information on this, check out the show notes. There will be a link how you can find out more details, how you can claim your spot. And until Welcome to Raw and Radiant, the podcast that ignites your spirit and empowers your soul. Are you ready to embark on a transformative journey? Here we give other women permission to embrace their truth, to find the courage to choose themselves first. Because guess what? You are not alone. Join us in this massive journey of empowerment and courage. Together we'll illuminate your inner spark, empowering you to embrace the radiant light within and show you how magical you are. It's time to unleash your potential and make a difference in this world. Are you ready to step into the raw and radiant version of you? Hello and welcome back to another episode of Raw and Radiant. I am so excited and so happy that you are here. Thank you for joining me. I am delighted to have a beautiful soul that I recently met in Breathwork teacher training, the last round with the healing couple. Her name is Amy Morgan, and she was one of the beautiful souls that were in there in that container to really step into their leadership, to step into their expansiveness, and to heal her own soul. Her story is magical and it's powerful as fuck. And I am so grateful that she is stepping into sharing with vulnerability and authentically her story as a mama of 3 boys with a husband who is a recovering addict, 3+ years, who is sober. That is such a beautiful story. And I know a lot of it has to do with choosing yourself and then choosing the power of breathwork. So she is here to share wisdom and insight, sharing the hard shit, knowing that we all go through the hard shit, and she has come out the other side. So her story is of strength and hope. And in this moment, in the years that she has had, she never knew, she never realized that she would be where she is today. And I have full body goosebumps just sharing that. So please, Raw and Radiant community, please welcome Amy Morgan. Thank you so much for being here, Amy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here and just be real, be raw.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know that this is her first podcast,
My
and it
very
sounds like it's mine. I'm stumbling over my words, but that's okay. Give me a little insight. First of all, I want to talk about breathwork. I want to talk about how you found breathwork and
yeah.
what made you want to take your first breathwork class.
Okay. I was introduced through breathwork through Ashley D. Adam. So Ashley D. Adam was my son's homeopathic doctor.
Mhm.
And through her, she introduced it to me. We did a little bit of like guided meditation in the office with my son. She had put out a like a I well, I'm at a loss of words. Like a on Instagram, she put out like try to win a free breathwork
Mm.
class. And I'm like, well, let's try it. And so I did, and I won it. And I'm like, wow, I never won anything. This is amazing. And I did it. And my first breath work class, I was so nervous to even do it. It was virtual, and I'm definitely like a one-on-one, in-person type of person. So it was very nerve-wracking for me. I have three boys and a husband and a dog, and I had to like seclude myself in my tiny bedroom and try to make it work. And it worked. And I found myself like crying, and I never even knew breath work was a thing. I did not even know it was a modality until I did that. And from there, I started taking some classes locally out here too. We have the Theosophical Center, and then Solder World, which is a lovely place. If you ever are out in this area, definitely visit it. You'll love it.
Where are
Um,
you?
I'm in Illinois, so I'm in
Okay.
Wheaton, Illinois, but Solder World is out in, I think it's like Woodridge or whatnot. It's a good like 30 minutes from me, but anyway, you wouldn't be disappointed. So I started taking breath work and sound journeys through them and the Theosophical Center. Hands down amazing. It's been my best
Mm.
tool ever to I didn't even know that I can like tap into this part of me that needed to be
Wild,
tapped into.
right?
Wild, wild. Had no idea that I can release things. I didn't even know that I was holding on to. Had no
Mm.
idea. So that was my first introduction, was treating my son, for a slew of things through Ashley Adam, and then experiencing it first with her, and just her presence. It's just so it was so comforting and
Yeah.
welcoming. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. So that
So
was
you
my
st
first introduction.
That's so beautiful, Amy, because like you started with homeopathy, you started with treating your son. So you were looking outside of yourself, like
Yeah.
this isn't for me, this is for him. And then within
Yes.
that, you received this beautiful gift of this free session and you
Yes.
leaned into this breath work. Like, what the hell is it? That's kind of
Yeah.
like mine.
Yeah.
The first time my experience is like, I don't know what this is doing, but I'm gonna do it because it
I'm gonna
feels right.
It felt so right. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you experienced the online presence and then you went to in-person
Mhm.
breathwork sessions.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so let's before I get into when you signed up for breathwork teacher training, I want to hear
Yeah.
about the story about your husband. And I know
Sure.
that this is an open book because this is your mission and this is your passion. Because
It is.
I 100% remember your
Yeah.
invocation and your declaration at the breathwork teacher training graduation and how you were going to show up for the world. So I again have full body goosebumps. You are exactly where you're meant to be.
Yes.
Please let if you're open to sharing that,
I
I would love to
am.
hear it.
Yes. I don't even know where to start. We've been together for 20 plus years now.
Mm.
So, gosh, I don't even know where to pick up, but I guess I'll start with, I knew him prior, before I even started dating him, and I knew of my husband, and knew that that was nobody I wanted to be a part of in my life. I was not on that track in my life. Wanted nothing to do with him or the lifestyle that he lived. Um, Fast forward, he was friends with my sister. That's how I met him. Um, and my gosh, this is going to go real deep. So
It's okay.
my husband ended up going to prison for 3 years, and kept in contact with my husband is by 100% an open book too. So by me sharing you with you, he's 100% okay with it. So any
Thank
questions, just
you.
ask.
Thank you.
He went to prison for 3 years. He called my sister, and at the time, I remember her not wanting to answer the phone, and I just felt so bad for him. Like, oh my goodness, like what if he has nobody to talk to? I should
Mm,
answer the phone for him.
mm,
So it was a collect call or whatnot. I don't know what it was back then, but so I
yeah.
answered, talked to him, whatnot. He had a picture of me, which I had no idea he had. He had a
Mm,
picture of me in prison with him. And he to this day, we talk about this story all the time. He tells me that that was like he knew he was talking to his cellmate, that I was going to be the one that he was going to marry. Yet
Mm.
I had no idea he was still like, I'll talk to you on the phone because you're in prison, but I still want nothing to do with you in real life. Like
Mm.
outside of the phone call, nothing. Um, Fast forward, he gets out, he comes to see my sister. I see him. He asks me out on a few dates, probably about 10, and I kept saying no until he showed up at my door once and literally was like, "You cannot say no anymore. And just let's
Mm.
just go out to dinner." Takes me out to dinner, and when I met him, after that, he was like this perfect man who was not into drugs, alcohol, all the things. He was into fitness and like such a kind hearted man.
Mhm.
Um, we go on a date, best date I've ever had in my life at the time. It was great, great conversation, but still was like, whatever. It's fine. I don't want to continue with that. Like, I still don't want that.
Mhm.
Um, Nonetheless, we continued to date after that and got engaged, so bad habits started to seep back into his life.
Mm.
And so from there, from when right before we got married until three 3 years and 4 months ago, he was in and out of different states of like abuse with drugs, whether it was cocaine or heroin, alcohol, all the things. And it started to get messy because I was married and I was young and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at this. Never something I've dealt with in my life, and it seems so heavy and so big. Um, so moving on from that, he rehab, all the things. Like there was so much that we went through. We started
Mhm.
having kids, and I felt like I could not get out of this situation at that point.
Mm. Mhm.
But deep in my heart, I also didn't want to get out of that situation. Like I wanted it out. I wanted him to get out of the situation because
There you go.
I knew the man that I met and
Yeah.
I knew what he was capable of. And
Yeah.
he's a good fucking man. He's a good
Yeah.
man. He has such a soul about him that is so like you'll never meet a man like that again. He's so kind and genuine, and he just to the point
Mm.
where I'm like, Scott, I think you're being taken advantage of. He's like, and he always says like that's not for me to deal with. That's not for me to worry about. Like he's just such a good man. Anyway, um, he he in and out of rehabs and whatnot, and finally, I'll just I don't even. There's so much, Victoria.
Yeah,
There's so much.
that's okay. That's okay. We can do a whole nother episode. So let's
Yeah.
just go to like he's been sober for three
3 plus,
plus
yeah,
years now.
yep, yep,
And I take me to that point, like when he decided, okay, this
yeah.
is
Oh,
it.
this
This
is a
is
good
the
one.
time.
Yeah, this is a good one because I was on him for probably about 2 weeks at this point, and he knew like it was coming to an end, and I didn't know how bad it was. Like I was finding uh, Tito's bottles of alcohol, of vodka, randomly hidden in the garage. I would call him out on it. I would see him, find my iPhone. Where's my husband? I don't know where he's at. So find him. Oh, he's at the liquor store. That's weird. Why is he at the
Mm-hmm.
liquor store?
Mm-hmm.
Or why is he on the west side of Chicago? Real bad place to be. And you're
Mm.
only there for one reason.
Mm.
Why is he in these places? And he always had reasons. He always had excuses. I had to take so and so there, or I had to do this. Da, 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 da. Always excuses. Okay, so it comes down to it, and I was in a point where I was like, okay, this I don't know what you're doing, but this needs to stop. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's really bad. We have 3 boys. It needs to stop now.
How old are the boys at this point?
Um, Goodness, how old were they? Let's see, 3 years ago. So 10, 7, and then our youngest was literally just like maybe a year and a half old.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, they were
So a
small,
lot on the line. A lot on the
a
line.
lot on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So I see him driving into the city past the west side. So I call him and I say, "Hey, what are you doing? Where are you going now?" And he's never been one to like uh, talk about committing suicide
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never worried about that. I always worried about him either overdosing or getting killed in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So I called him and he's like, I'm driving myself into the city to rehab. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. can you come home so we can figure this out as a unit and I will take you to rehab. So he
Mm.
came home, called the place in the city in Chicago, got him a bed. We were going to take him. So that was on a Saturday. Sunday is the day he had to not turn himself in because it's not prison, but
Yeah.
that was the day they're like, okay, we have a bed on Sunday. You can bring him.
Mhm.
Brought him that night, Victoria, from Saturday to Sunday. I had such peace of mind, but did not even know the craziness that was going on in my living room. And I woke up to, uh, it was wild, like 15 text messages from him. And to this day, I have never fully watched. They were all videos. I've
Mm.
fully have not watched it because in his mind, he was going to die that night. He was never going to make it to rehab. He
Mhm.
was going all in that night, and he fucking went all in that night with all the things, alcohol, cocaine, all of it, because he just knew in his heart that he couldn't go on anymore like this. Like he didn't think that he can do rehab, but he knew that he couldn't move on anymore in this manner. Um, so so yeah, that's I
Amy
woke up.
Amy, pause for a second, come
Yeah.
back.
Okay.
We had a glitch in the matrix, glitch in
All right.
the Starlink. So, the last part I heard is that he was in the living room. You were getting text and video messages that he was going all in on not thinking that he's going to be around the next day.
Yes. Okay, so I get all these text messages that he's or videos. The videos were videos to pretty much say how much he loves us, and he made a video for each one of our kids. It was like a
Mm,
goodbye type of
mm,
thing.
mhm,
Uh, one for me, one for my three boys, and then several others of him just expressing how sorry he is and how much he loves everybody type of thing. It was really heartbreaking, obviously, to see,
mhm,
but I didn't watch them. But even to this day, like I have not fully watched them through because it is heartbreaking to watch something like that.
mhm,
So I wake up. He's here with us by the grace of God, and that's exactly his path in life right now. Is like his a power of his understanding, a higher power of his understanding is what he calls it. Is the only thing that saved him. He uh, decided to wake up and surrender himself and
mm,
say he can no longer do this and I need help. And so we took him down. He stayed for one fucking night, Victoria, one night. This was
mm,
supposed to be a 28-day program.
mm.
Um, so you can imagine when he called me the next day and said, Amy, I'm ready. I'm done. I need to come home now. And we argued about this. No, you're not ready. I literally felt like life had paused and I can breathe. Like
Mm.
I could breathe in that moment and felt so much relief that he was being taken care of and I had nothing to worry about at home except to take care of my babies.
Right. That's a
And
lot for you to hold.
yeah, it was so much, so much.
I want to pause you here for a second
Yeah,
because there is a lot for you to hold. Like this amount of years, these amount of years that you have been together and you've watched this these actions of somebody that you love, and like it's deeply painful for you to
mhm,
watch someone that is so close to you go through this heartache and this hardship
yeah,
and not understand. Like I mean, there is no understanding for what they're
no,
going through, right? And
no,
then you're trying to hold this family unit together with the boys and with your husband and also you yourself. Like,
yeah.
how are you surviving, Amy?
Oh, it was awful. It was so awful. Yeah, it was I was literally in survival mode for years. That's all like I said, that's all I knew. That's
Mm,
all I knew was survival mode. I went to work every day. My mom was our caregiver for our boys at the time. So I was blessed to have her come here 3 days a week and watch our boys for us. I didn't have to worry about my husband having to watch the boys. Um,
mm,
he did his own thing. I went to work every day. Obviously, he went to work too. It was a lot. It was a lot to carry on and go through life like a smile on your face and life is good and you don't talk about addiction with people. Like that is
yeah.
a I mean, I do now. I will talk about it with anybody and everybody because I feel like it's such a taboo
Hmm.
conversation. People are so embarrassed, and a lot of shame is involved
Yeah.
with that too.
Yeah.
And on the addict's part, a lot of guilt as well.
Yeah.
So I
And
did
there's
all the things,
judgment. There's
so
judgment too.
much
You don't
judgment,
know like
so
who's
much
going to
so.
be in your corner, who's going to support you, who like
Yeah.
how beautiful that your mom is still able to walk this journey with you and hold you and support the boys while
Yeah.
all of this is going on
Yes.
with her daughter.
Yeah. Yes. And my mom did know most of the time, because she was the one person that I could tell, and the one
Mhm,
person that, sure, she had her own opinions, but
mhm.
she knew this was my journey and I had to walk through it. Like, she had her own opinions and from time to time would express them, but knew that that wasn't something for her to interject herself with and say, you need to do this and you need to do that. And why
That's
aren't you doing
beautiful.
this? Because that's, nobody wants that. Like, that's not what I needed at the time. I didn't need people to tell me what to do. I needed people to hold my hand. And outside of my mom, there was nobody, nobody.
Mm,
And, and that is a huge reason why and we can get back to this, but a huge reason why I want to bring this to the community, because I want to be that person for
yeah,
that that woman, that whoever it is that needs that hand to hold and walk through it, and without being judged, without feeling shame, without feeling guilt or embarrassment, because all of those things I felt for so long, and it's become so isolating. Like, the isolation itself was not great, and I did
mhm.
it to myself, I did it to myself to protect myself, I guess, and protect the
And
questions.
also, like, we're in this society of judgment
Yes.
of like, "Oh, why are you staying in that relationship?" Like, there's so much guilt that's put upon you from society that you don't feel safe to share that with anybody. So I'm
No.
I'm so happy that you had your mom to be able to hold you because as humans, we want to be seen, we want to be loved, and we want to be supported. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Whatever journey
that's
we're
it.
walking through. Yeah.
Yes, that's all humans want in life, is to be to be seen, to be heard, to be held, like, all the
Mhm.
things,
Mhm.
we could do without all of the judgment in life, honestly,
Yeah. Yeah, we're
Um,
we're all on this human journey, on this
yes,
planet, in this meat suit, and we're doing the best that we can, so that's the permission
absolutely.
slip. So, fast forward back
Yeah,
to the next day where, Scott called you and he's like, "I'm done." 24
I'm
hours
done.
later, "I'm done."
Yeah. So he said he's done. He said he had a conversation with the woman, who was supposed to be taking care of him. Uh, so my husband, before he went to bed that night, prayed. He's not a he, at that point he didn't believe in any sort of higher power. How could a higher power allow, in his mind, what led up to his addiction happened to him in life? He has his own trauma, childhood
Mhm,
trauma. How could all of that be allowed to happen, right? If there's
mhm,
a higher power who loves him.
mhm,
Um, so he decided that whoever his higher power was at the time, he would pray to them and hope for the best. And he woke up the next day. No, now this guy was drinking. When I say he was drinking, like, a huge bottle. I don't drink anymore. I don't drink. But even back then, I don't know what it's called. If it's like a handle, a fifth, I don't know how big it was. It was fucking big though. A
mhm,
day, like one a day, on top of whatever else he was doing, cocaine, whatnot.
mhm.
He woke up the next day, like like he had this aha moment. I don't know what you want to call it, but everything had been lifted to him. Is
Mm,
all he can say, is like, I have no desire. I have um no withdrawals, no. And I don't know if you've ever known anyone to have to come off of alcohol or any sort of drug. Like, I watched my husband do it several times with other things like heroin and cocaine and several other things. It is fucking ugly. It's
mhm,
not good. It's horrible. Withdrawals
mhm,
are horrible. He had
mhm.
none of that for a man who was doing it solid day, like, to the point where if he didn't drink, he was shaking. It was bad.
Wow, wow.
So he woke up and all he can say is his higher power saved him and knows that he had a message for the world. And to this day, he will tell you, like, he doesn't regret any of the things that he's been put through. It's to him, it's his purpose in life now, to share and to help others.
Wow.
That's what he does now, is, outside of his 9 to 5. Yeah. So yeah, I
So
picked him up. I went down. Sorry, go ahead.
what so you received this call from him. He's
Yeah.
gone through this before. Are you
Yes.
like at this point, are you like, okay, here we go again?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Mm,
I was like, "Here we fucking go. Here we go." Like, I've seen this story before. We've done this before. It's not my first rodeo here. Here we
mhm,
go. So I lovingly go pick him up because he was gonna walk out anyway, and he was just gonna be wandering the streets of Chicago. So I go pick
mm,
him up. We have a conversation on the way back home. He gets dropped off at no, we come home and then he goes right to an AA meeting. And
mm,
so, and then he goes like 3, 4, he took 2 weeks off of work. He went like 3, 4 times a day to meetings.
mm,
He just got in it deep, like, and he's very deep in it to this day too. So,
good.
um, he's met some amazing men through that. He got a sponsor. Since then has had another sponsor.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah,
So, let's talk about all right, so you go pick him up and you say to yourself, "Here we go again. I'm in this
mhm,
again. This is like rinse and repeat."
yes.
How are you taking care of your nervous system? Your nervous system for this whole entire relationship, you're on fight or flight. You're in survival mode. And
Yeah,
here you are again in the same position. How are you taking care of you?
there was no taking care of me
Mm,
ever, ever until recently. And I didn't even know I needed to be taken care of. I thought my purpose in life was to take care of him, make sure he was okay, make sure my kids were okay, go to work and make money. That was like I at that point, that's what I did all day long, every day. I did not take care of myself. I did go to a place I was doing like working out. I was doing the daily method, which is like bar workout.
okay.
Um, so I did that, but
So, and you're an esthetician by trade, correct?
I was, yep, I
Okay.
was.
So
I recently left.
you're still in that space of taking care
Take
of other
care of
people.
other people. Yes, that was hard because you
Yeah.
were working one on one with people. I needed to be able to not transfer my life's energy to these
Mhm.
people who are coming in paying for a relaxing facial, or they're coming in and when you're an
Wanting to be
esthetician.
nurtured. Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes. So it was I did not realize how hard it was until I was out of it,
Ooh.
until I left my job, until I felt safe to put my guard down with my husband. And that just recently happened when I signed up for breathwork class. And even then, I was like on the teeter totter about it. So,
I'm gonna
yeah,
get the timeline straight here in my
yeah,
mind. So he said it's been lifted. I'm going to triple AA, sometime quad AAs a day, which is really beautiful to have that support system.
yeah.
When did within this journey, when did you start to realize that you get to take care of yourself? When did you start the breath work? When did you tap
That
into
was,
homeopathy?
gosh, that was not until think I did not start with Ashley until probably my husband was 2 years sober.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean, it was it and to this day, I feel like I still have a little bit of, like, imposter syndrome because I don't feel like I'm fully there yet. I
where's
don't
there?
where in my mind where I think I need to be, and I don't know where that's at. That's where I have all my ducks in a row, where I have everything perfect. I have all the things lined
Mhm.
up, ready to go.
So
I'm
you're
not
living in that illusion of that perfection, right? That
Yeah,
shiny object moment.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I feel like I've lived so much in a chaotic, like a tornado. My life was like a tornado. At home, it was a tornado. Outside of the home, everything was fine. And
Mm,
so I feel like a little bit of that still lives within me. Like that I I keep telling you, I keep trying to like tell myself like to give myself grace. Like
yeah.
that will come in time. It will come in time. It's getting better. Like that whole
Yeah.
process is getting better, but it was not until, yeah, maybe a year and a half ago at this point where
Okay.
I took my son, Cashton, to go see Ashley, and she introduced me to breath work, and I did breath work. And
Mm,
even then, I it was so profound that I felt like I was instantly crying doing it. Like it was
yeah.
releasing things I had no idea. So,
Your body was
yeah.
so ready to get rid of a layer of shit, right?
Yes.
I mean, because there's layers and layers. You have 20 plus years of program that
Yes.
you were in this survival mode and this tornado that your body is like kind of in this because it's no longer a cortisol spike, right? It's
No.
the norm in your body. That high is a
Yeah.
norm in your body, and so it's
Yes.
trying to
Yes.
re-regulate your
Doesn't know what
nervous
to do.
system.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like, how do you do that? So you go
Yeah.
into breath work and you feel this profound experience and you shed a layer, you cry, you release, and then you start going to in-person sessions. Are
Yes.
the in-person sessions for you still that safe haven where you can purge another layer and you can let go, you can scream if it feels right to do so?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely. It
mm,
is profound. It's amazing. It's honestly beautiful. I love it.
that's so okay. So then breathwork teacher training came in,
Yeah.
and that was
Gosh.
6-ish months ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
A
I
while.
know, I know you have this beautiful on your Instagram, you have this beautiful image of you holding space, you being the facilitator for your husband, Scott, who's breathing on, I'm going to assume on your bedroom bed.
Yeah. Yep.
So he's allowed, let me collect my thoughts here because there's several different ways I want to ask you this question too, because
Sure.
I know facilitating for men that are in the program of AA, like it is a lot to freaking hold. I've held space for a dozen men,
Mhm.
and individually also, and it is a lot for them to hold and for you to hold as the facilitator. So plus
Absolutely.
also you're the wife and you're the mama.
Yes.
And you get to take care of yourself. So tell me
Yeah.
about that. First, I want to hear about when was the first time he said yes to allowing you to hold space for him as a facilitator?
Yeah. So my husband, I'll tell you, he's my number one fan. He
Mm,
like pushes me every day to go harder, to go bigger. He's able to do that for himself, and that's what he wants for me. I, on the other hand, am much different in that way. So he couldn't wait for me to fit. Like he was begging, like let me just do it. Let me be it. Let me be your model. Like he could not wait. He's been on his own journey though, since he started AA.
mm,
He has been on such he was ready. He's done Reiki, he's done sound journeys, he's done breath work, he's done all the things. And let me like back up really quick because I will tell
sure.
you,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, that was a huge resentment I had with him. Was he was able to heal, but where the fuck was my healing? Like, why
Ooh.
wasn't I able to heal? Why I felt like I still needed to take care of the kids. I still needed to take care of the house. He was able to leave the house all day long, go to AA, go to Reiki, like this. In my mind, it was like this leisurely life of like, oh, I get to go heal. I get to
He's
go
on
do this.
vacation, right?
He's,
You're still
yeah. And then
doing the
yeah.
chores.
And I'm like now trying to figure out like what just happened. My husband is better, but now I feel more resentment. Like I don't know what to do with my life. I've been taking care of him, fixing, cleaning up all the messes, putting out fires for 20 plus years. What do I do now? Um, so let's go back. He was on a healing journey already, so he could not wait for me to do this for him, and I couldn't wait to do it for him either. I was super nervous about it, but I did it.
Again.
That's okay.
So Starlink knocked us off the internet here for a moment. So let's go back to there was resentment. You were
Yeah,
he's healing, he's doing his journey of healing. He's doing all the things that is helping him and his soul and his mind.
yeah,
But here you are still stuck in the chaos.
yeah. Still stuck in the chaos, stuck in the what do I do now? My husband is getting better, which I that's all I've ever wanted, and that's
Mhm,
I love it. But now, what do I do with all this that I have? Because
mhm,
all it was doing was turning into resentments, which wasn't good. I was
mhm,
going with him to open meetings for AA, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with AA, but open meetings anyone can go to and listen to.
mhm,
So that was our date night every week for a long time, and even to this day we go. Um, but it was a nice chance to talk about it. Every time I would listen to somebody else tell their story, or even my husband would go up and tell his story, and I would hear something new. Um, it was it was such a nice way to connect with him and talk to
mhm,
him about our own like his journey and my journey. And he was in the past he was always very defensive when I would bring something up. And now that he's in this program, he's become more aware of what he's done and how
mhm,
it's affected me, and
mhm,
was very open and accepting to what I had to say. Like, hey, this is how I feel now, or when we do this, I feel like you're going to relapse again, or and it just became a very good way to communicate with him.
What a beautiful
So
gift to your nervous system. What a
yeah.
beautiful gift to your relationship. What a beautiful gift to your boys to be
Mhm.
able to have that date night, to
Yeah.
go to those open AA meetings, to be able to
Yeah.
see a different side because there is
Yeah.
that safe space in in those AA meetings. I
There
have
is.
been to them and it does create that safe container
Yes.
that you could hear the different things that the bullshit that's going on in his mind,
Yeah.
and also it's a safe place for you to share the bullshit that's going on in your mind
Yes.
and be
Yes.
able to articulate to him
Yeah.
and to the group and to be held in that safe space. So
Yeah.
that is such a beautiful gift.
It's an amazing gift. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's the best gift so far that we've had as a couple together.
Yeah.
It's been profound.
Yeah.
So let me get back to your question. Sorry, I'm all over the
No,
place.
that's okay. No, I
Um,
love these tangents.
so when you seen on Instagram that I held space for him and did breath work for him, that was the very first time I've done it for him.
Mm,
There were some times where I would like replay back some from our breathwork training and have him, work through the exercise that they were doing and do the breath work. And he's just always been someone who's so open to receive that every single time it was profound. Like if it were on his time or whatnot, he would do this every day if I would for him. That's not
wow.
gonna happen. But yeah, like he freaking loves it. Loves it.
That's so good. So I have witnessed in the men that I have held space for that are in recovery that there's a lot of resistance though too. There is a lot of the uncertainty of going into the unfamiliar. Have you
Yes.
recognized that within him too when he's doing
So
this?
not him, but
Mm.
there is definitely. My husband, he's a different breed, I'm telling you. He's a different breed. He is when I say he's a very open person, he is a very open to receive any sort of things. Like he loves exploring different options
Mm.
outside of what's considered the norm.
Mhm.
Uh, what's the how do I say this? Okay, so a lot of people, God is huge in AA. Okay,
Mhm.
um, because a lot of people believe in a certain type of God.
Mhm.
Sometimes breath work becomes blurred to them as
Mhm.
if that's like against the rules type of thing, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. Like that's like you're letting like it's an open portal and you can be letting in unwanted spirit type of thing.
It's not
So
within the box of what some
yes,
of them believe is
some
appropriate. Mhm.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
So I have not worked with those type of people, but I know that they're there because I've talked with them.
Yeah.
Um, so my husband is not that type. Like he is very, very open to anything. He does
That's
all the things to
I love that.
yeah, yeah,
So tell me about your healing journey now, Amy. Healing from these years of being in this addiction because you're in it also. Like
yeah,
let's not sugarcoat it. You're in it
no,
also.
yeah,
So tell me about how you are healing in these 3 years. Like we've talked about the resentment of him starting to go into his healing journey and being
yeah,
open to receive all these different modalities. Like
yeah,
let's talk about you as
yeah,
the support system of the recovering addict.
yes. So it's something that's just recently started to happen. Honestly, since I took the maybe I don't want to get the date wrong, but it was probably about a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure that I did my very first breathwork class
Mhm.
online with Ashley. Um, that just kind of got me into this whole loop of like, oh, what is this? Like, this is pretty fucking cool. I love it. Like, I felt amazing. And if I can tap into that, what else can I do?
Mhm.
So, my husband suggested, as far as healing, he suggested, like, why don't you go to Al Anon? And I'm like, I don't want to go to Al Anon. I don't feel like I want to talk to all these people right now about everything.
Mhm.
Um, what do we go to therapy? No, I don't want to do that either. I wanted to do like I liked things like breath work and sound journeys. So I started dabbling in that and it just felt so good to my soul. It
Mm.
felt so nourishing to my soul. It was amazing. So that's where I started. And then because of Ashley posting about like the healing couple, that's where I started learning about them. I started following them, signed up on their website, like, hey, let's try to do this. But then when I got the email, like, this is the time. Let's sign up, Amy. I literally like froze. I was like,
Ooh,
not actually sure if I'm ready
this
for
is fucking real now.
this. Real. I'm not sure. Like I went back and forth for a real long time until I finally hit yes and hit or sent the email that said yes, sign me up. So it took a long time to do that. Fast forward, now here I am. Is this frozen again? Uh-oh.
Yep, we're in another sacred pause. All right,
Uh,
so you just said, I went back and forth for a real long time with signing up for breathwork teacher training."
yes. So I went back and forth for a long time with whether or not I was going to do it because I wanted it, but I was so scared to start something new because for so long my life was the same. It was like I said, putting out fires, cleaning up messes, fixing, 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 always fixing other people, even at work, fixing people. That's all I did was fix people at work too,
Mhm.
giving them facials, waxing them. That's all I did was give, fix everybody else. But
Yep.
I did not get any of that for myself, but I didn't even know how to receive it. So, like I said, when I took Ashley's class, like I guess it was just so nurturing to me that like somebody else was giving to me, and
Somebody else was loving on you.
I didn't know how to take that. That's
Yeah.
probably why I was crying so much. Like, oh my gosh, this is what it must feel like, you
Mm,
know.
mm.
Um, so yeah, this is how it started. So I signed up. I did the healing couple. I know you were in there too, and the first day I was a mess because I was not even sure. Like again, I felt like I had imposter syndrome. Like I was, and I really did go into it for myself. Like I had no intentions going into it to do it for other people other than
Mhm,
I needed to do this for myself. Like
mhm.
I want to know everything about it. I want to know how to do it correctly and I want to do it. Um, so that's what I did. But then growing through it, I'm like, wow, I feel like I can really help other people. Like I can't be the only one that's, and at the time you feel like you are the only person that is
Mhm.
in that situation. You're the only person who has a husband who's addicted to all the things, who has, you have three kids, you have to, like, you feel like you're the only person with those struggles at that time.
Yeah. I mean, you
And
mentioned that isolation and that
yeah,
depression of being those years in that, and so
yeah,
now somebody else is loving on you.
yes, yes. And I didn't know how to even handle that,
Yeah.
how to how to accept that, how to receive that, I should say.
Mm,
Like that's the best word. I didn't know how to receive that because
mm,
I was so used to just doing it for other people.
mm.
So it's kind of like pulling like a band-aid off, right? Like what do you do now? How do you just there's no easy transition. Like you just have to let it happen
Yeah.
eventually and you have to be okay with it. And for me it was very uncomfortable. Um to allow that to happen. But over time, it got easier, it got better. Um, so here I
Sacred.
am.
Yeah, keep
y-
going.
so here I am now in the class sharing things that I had no idea that I was capable of sharing with other people. Like this, I was taking this to the grave. This whole like lifetime with my husband prior to him being who he is today was coming with me to the grave. I wasn't sharing it with people.
Mm,
I was embarrassed. It was, shameful, all the things, judgment, all the things.
yeah,
I just wanted, but the more I shared, the more I felt comfortable with it.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
not comfortable in a way of like, oh, it was okay that it happened. Like comfortable in a way that other people want to hear this. And I
yeah.
had no idea other people wanted to hear. Like to me, this is just I'm an ordinary woman with a
Y
story,
And you
blah, blah,
don't know what you don't know, right? Like,
don't know what you don't know.
you lived this for so long, you don't know that there's another side, and you don't know that there's kind, caring, nurturing souls and safe
Yeah,
containers and
I had no
spaces
idea.
that you can heal and grow through, and that's
Yeah,
the beauty of breathwork teacher training, those 10 weeks together
yeah,
of creating these cohorts and this family that's your
yeah,
family for a lifetime, because I know you
yeah.
and Anne Hadley are still friends.
Yeah, love
And
her.
yeah, and it's such a gift to your nervous system, a gift to to the you, that feminine
Yeah.
goddess that's within you, that higher self that's within you, and
Yeah.
also a gift to who's Amy coming into? Who is
Yes.
she evolving
Yes.
into?
Yes, and that's it. That's gonna be a forever journey, but that's where I am now is like, who am I? I was so used to being one person and I'm not that person anymore. I don't have to do all these things that I did. I don't have to live in like a fight or flight state. I don't have to take care of all the people anymore. Now,
Mhm.
who am I? Like, I have to peel back all these layers now to figure out who I am and who I'm really meant to be, like who I want to be, honestly, you know?
Yeah.
And in my soul, I feel it, but it is very uncharted territory for me to
And it's
jump
scary
into.
too. I mean,
So
let's
scary.
say that is scary too, but you have
Yeah.
these tools now that you get to use that you
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
So now, Amy, that you have graduated from breathwork teacher training, you have this beautiful tool, you have experienced so many different powerful layers being released.
Yes.
And how do you utilize breathwork now? And how do you take care of yourself now
Yeah.
in this new life that
Yeah.
you and Scott have created for yourselves?
Yes. So how I utilize it now is for myself. I do it. I participated in for myself. I facilitate for myself,
Mm,
or I
mm,
listen to pre-recordings of others that I've already done. So that's what I'm doing right now. Scott enjoys it too. Obviously loves it.
mhm,
Um, but outside of that, I'm I'm doing I'm doing a lot of shadow work
mm,
because I feel stuck still. Like I
mm,
feel like I have this knowledge, I had all this fire. By the end of training, I was ready to go, and then I like froze because I was
mm.
like, "Gosh, this is fucking real." Like now I get to help other people. Am I qualified to help other people? Am I like that's where the imposter syndrome comes in?
Can I
Like,
answer that?
yeah, yes,
Yes,
please.
you are fucking worthy of helping other people.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't it doesn't feel real, if that makes sense,
Mm.
like, it doesn't feel like Amy Morgan, does not feel like I can do that, but in my heart, I wanna do it, like, I have all the visions, all the dreams of fucking doing it, like, we have a space now that my husband has, that I can do in person, and that's what I wanna do, like, I wanna do in person, I wanna feel that energy, I wanna give my loving, kind heart energy to others. I don't know, it just gets me excited. I have goosebumps even talking about it because that's what excites me is just seeing them feel it and seeing them be able to process and work through it. So we're getting
S
there, getting there.
that I mean, when you have the goosebumps, like, that's your that I call truth bumps, like,
Yeah,
literally, that's your truth, that's what your
yeah,
soul is lit up doing, and I'm so, so proud of you. I am so I mean, it's just amazing to be woman to woman, shoulder to shoulder, walking this journey with you and seeing
yeah,
and witnessing you from the beginning of breathwork teacher training, because obviously I didn't know you before then, and
yeah.
to the woman that you are now, that you are evolving into, and the uncharted territory. Like, there's going to be the ebbs and flows. Like,
There will.
let's be real here. Like, there's going to be the emotions and the feels, but now you have this ability to be able to ride the waves, the emotions,
Yeah,
and not shove them down, and not
yes,
and to just be able to nurture yourself, because what I like to see is that we get to fill our own cup, and the
yes,
overflow into the saucer is what we give other people now. So
yes,
once your overflow is in that saucer, you get to hold other people, you get to see them, you get to love them, and I love that you guys have the space to be able to do that so that you can
yes,
give back and be a conduit for other people healing from addiction,
yeah,
because it's a two-way journey for both
it is.
you and Scott, right?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. I
yeah.
just feel like they deserve it so much. Like nobody should have to suffer so much in life. And I think that's the other part of the coin is all of the addicts, none of them, if they ever get out of that and tell their story, none of them wanted to be like that. None of them. They all
Yeah,
have a story and they want
yeah,
healing. They deserve healing too.
yeah, yeah. Those so your favorite quote, "Those who matter don't mind, and that mind don't
Yep.
matter.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
What
so
I try to
beautiful.
live by.
That's so beautiful. I want to read your declaration that you posted on
Yes.
Instagram, and I know it came from graduation weekend. And so
Yes.
I just want to infuse these words into this message, into your soul, to keep showing up, to keep showing up for you, to keep showing up for your kids, to keep showing up for Scott, and to create that ripple out into the community. Oh my gosh, I have so many goosebumps right now. So your declaration, I'm going to read it, is my message is to addicts and anyone affected by addicts. You are seen and you are not alone. You are stronger than you know, and you can overcome any obstacle that crosses your path.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Feels so beautiful coming from somebody else.
Mm,
Like, not that when I didn't write it, I didn't feel it, but to hear somebody else say that back to me
mm,
feels amazing.
mm,
I love it.
mm.
Thank you.
You
And I
are
truly
so
feel that
welcome.
way.
Mm,
I do.
yeah. Yeah. Pause for the emotions to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. The love and the support. All right. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being
Thank
on this
you.
journey with me. Thank you for sharing your story of power with rawness and vulnerability and authentically showing up for you. And there's one last question that I ask all of my
Yeah.
guests. It is a
Yes.
surprise question that you do not know that's coming.
Okay.
All right. So, if you could go back to a younger version of yourself, what would you tell
Mhm.
yourself and how old are you?
Okay.
So, what age would you be and what would you tell her?
I would be about 14 or 15, and I would tell her, you are not insignificant. You matter and you are seen.
Mm. I'm sending your 14, 15-year-old Amy so much love, and sending her a giant hug. And I am sending you a virtual giant hug. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you,
Thank you.
Victoria.
Yeah.
I'm so honored for this. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you. I mean, I don't know why you're thanking me. I'm thanking you. I don't know, but please tell my listeners how they can contact you if they want to share their story, if they want
I
to ask you a question, how can they reach you?
am. So I am currently on Instagram right now at that breathwork experience.
Mm,
So you can reach me there. You can message me there.
lovely, lovely,
Yep.
lovely. And what's your next step? Like, what's your next step as far as your commitment to breath work and your community?
So my next step is I plan to, in the very near future, host a in person
Mm,
for addicts
mm,
at my husband's new place. So
mm.
that's what I'm working on right now, and then from there, I plan to start opening it up to the community and hopefully creating a safe space for people to come in.
Yeah, yeah, they really
Yeah,
need it. They really desire it too, because I've seen it in that space. So please keep us posted
I will.
when you have that place in, or when you have that date in place, and I would love to promote it
Well,
for you, even though
thank you so
we're
much.
virtual. Yes, absolutely. We are the ripple and we get to continue the ripple. So thank you
Yes.
for being here.
Thank you, Victoria, so much. It was so great chatting with you.
You're so welcome. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for joining in on this episode. If you have any questions for Amy, please reach out to her at the Breathwork Experience. If you have any questions for me about breathwork, how I can hold you and how I can support you, please reach out to me. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Let's get this podcast to as many people as possible because these stories, they make a difference. Until next time, see you guys on the next episode. You are the heart and soul of living raw and radiant. Take this energy, this courage, and infuse it into every moment of your life. Remember, you have the permission to choose you. I invite you to stay connected, keep shining your light, and continue to embody the essence of living raw and radiant. Together, we are igniting a movement of empowerment, authenticity, and soulful living. Until next time, my friends, keep living your soul's desires.